Hi everyone, I'm Kim McElroy and today is my 60th birthday in the year of the Fire Horse. I've done something very special today for us all. I have gathered all the horses in my artwork to come together and share with us their presence in my studio. I hope you'll join me. So I'm walking down into the studio gallery where I've gathered the original horses who are here with me right now. This is my studio and gallery adjacent to each other. And this is Equis Caverna. Equis Caverna is a good place to begin because this is the horses that really started everything, are mankind's fascination with horses long before domesticity. I loved painting this piece because it just reminds me of this ancient wisdom and to really touch again as if I was one of the cave painters myself, touching upon this ancient horse with pigments on a surface that was so much like the rock walls. The paper I work with is actually a sanded paper, so it has a texture like earth. And this is combination of several of the prehistoric cave paintings that I was inspired by. You can see from this ancient horse, the spirits of the horses of that time are taking form as if they've inspired the artist, and vice versa. They're coming out of the form into spirit, sharing their essence. There's also a ghost shape of a horse, more spirit in the background. And in the crevices of the rocks, I could find the shapes of a cave lion and other creatures that have yet to be discovered. I love the way the pastel pigment laid down on this paper, the sense of drawing rock instead of flesh or hair or detail or water or sky is what I'm usually painting. So this incredible texture of the rock wall was just glorious to feel a part of. And it is my coloring of earth that I love so much in my studio as well, as you can see in the wall behind it. So here's the entrance to my gallery. Welcome. This is the first time I've seen all this art gathered. It's one of those things I should have done this a long time ago. It's really profound for me to stand in the midst of all these horses who have shared so much of my life. Each one came to me at a particular time, carrying their own presence and stories. And now some of them are ready to go to their forever homes with someone special like you. As I move through the room, I'll say the titles of the paintings so you'll know what I'm referring to. All of the originals I'm showing are available by personal inquiry, and they are also listed in the originals gallery on my website. So let's focus on Allesian. Allesian is the mare who guides the souls to the Isle of the Blessed in Greek mythology. In the Council of Horses oracle, she is also representing kindness, altruism, watching over those who do not realize all that they do for others. This piece was actually created in two different forms. There were two horses that came through with this name, and they're completely different, even though their coloring is somewhat the same. Her eyes look very vivid because in her eyes is iridescent pastel. It's a sparkling highlight of silver that gives her such an awareness and a vivid presence. And the coloring is something that cannot be duplicated. I've tried and tried to get reproductions to match this original, and it just, the camera can't see the color like our eyes can, and even this video doesn't do it justice. It looks a bit overexposed, and it's actually quite a bit deeper and richer. Somewhere within, this is a very special horse that I had the grace to meet, named Stace. And his presence was such that I was able to convey his essence through his eye without needing to depict any more of him. He meets us when we turn to the deeper landscape within ourselves. This is Alber, the celestial steed of spiritual ascent. Speed and steed, actually, because in his name is the meaning, the author of lightning, because he traveled with the speed of lightning. So I have created lightning horses before, and this was such a challenge and a joy to create another lightning horse. But I wanted to do it differently, to depict the horse in the midst of the lightning as part of the lightning, and also the horse. He is a winged horse in his spiritual origin, so I wanted to depict unique wings, and I found wings of the flying fish to inspire me. They felt like lightning bolts to me, much more vivid than feathers. And the lightning that you see here with the coloring is called jet lightning, which I discovered in my research when I was looking for lightning references. And the reason it has these colors is because it extends so far up into the atmosphere that it actually affects the color of the lightning. So from outer space or from even high altitude, the coloring can be seen, and rare photographs have been captured of this phenomenon. So it felt really appropriate to me that this horse would carry that kind of form. And the spiritual origins of this horse is that he travels to heaven and back again on a single night in that momentary but yet timeless experience. And I love also the sort of aurora borealis feeling of the colors coming down from the clouds. I love where the lightning hits the earth and how it lights up a little bolt of glow against the mountains. To depict that in the pastel was really a challenge and a joy to see it fulfill what I had dreamt of painting. This one's waiting to be framed, and I can't wait to see what it looks like framed. I actually believe, even though in this setting the glass is distracting, that glass in a pastel is actually quite remarkable. It gives it a depth and like you're looking at a window, through a window to another realm. This is Red Bear. Red Bear was the first horse being that I met many years ago when I was envisioning and dreaming of the Council of Horses Oracle. He was the first guide who appeared to me and beckoned me to follow him through the woods into a distant circle clearing where he introduced me to the council. To depict the painting that I saw in my vision, I wanted a brilliant red horse, and the model that I immediately remembered was this horse, who was the son of one of my most beloved models, Chazerain. You've seen his the white horse Chazerain in many of my paintings, and this was his son. I met them many, many years ago and photographed them, he and several of his sons, and this horse was clearly able to represent Red Bear. This piece in particular is so stunning. At a distance, you can see the light just shining as if the sunlight is literally in the room. And when the sunlight even glances upon the painting, it's almost surreal. This is Kelpy Encounter. This came to me in one drawing session. I didn't have a previous idea of painting it, and it immediately formed into the shape of this beautiful Kelpie. She is very mysterious. She has water droplets on her face, as if she's just emerged from the water, and kelp hanging down from her forelock, and her eye is very deep. She has gills that sort of are emerging on her neck, and the shapes on her cheek remind me of fins. I've always loved the water. I love mermaids. I love kelpies. And this beautiful water horse is no exception. Very, very special piece. This is actually a shadow box called Seahorse, which, though isn't on the website at the moment, I'm happy to take inquiries for the shadow boxes. This is a shadow box of territory, and this is Chazerain, the horse I was just describing, who's the father of the red horse. Happy to talk about these as well, but I'm focusing on the originals today. And this is Double Take 2. So Double Take was originally a painting that I did years ago. It was just the horse. And recently I wanted to revisit the painting and realized that she needed a companion. And the cowbird came along. In Native American spiritual tradition, the cowbird and the horse are very linked, both beings of great power, and they are allies to us and to each other. This was a print originally, and I retouched it, as I often will do, with iridescent pastel. So it's actually an original, even though it's not priced like a full original, as if it was done just from scratch, essentially. But it is, every stroke is an original stroke of pastel over the earlier inspiration. I can't show you the sparkle of this, but the entire horse is pure gold and has a sparkle to her. And the bird has copper and silver as well. Now we move to Blue Horse. Blue Horse is also from the Council of Horses Oracle. She's the horse of dreams, intuition, and the unseen. This was an interesting piece because there's so much going on, but really it's all about balance. And it came from a vision that I had of a blue foal in a sphere of light. And you can see the musical treble moving through in the time 4/4. There's other amazing symbols which are written about. I won't go into the detail about each symbol, but it was such a fun piece to create. So many layers of meaning. And the blue foal and the blue mare essentially are the same horse, kind of representing time passing, timeless realms as well. Another pastel with stars in the background, and again this luminous quality again is totally impossible to reproduce. My photographer has worked with this piece many times trying to get the colors, and the original is the only way to see those colors of blue. These are horses in the cloud stratosphere surrounding the earth, and the human eye, which was really fun to paint. And this is Mythic Horse. Mythic Horse is a very, very special piece to me. The horse is a doorway into myth, carrying memory and stories, and all our ancient languages appear on his form, appearing and disappearing, representing the 5 oldest human cultures that revered the horse. And if you look carefully in the background in the stone, there's the shape of a horse's head facing to the left, hidden in the stone or revealed in the stone. And I painted this in the colors of memory, like an old-time photograph. We have an association with these colors, with the idea of memory. It's like he's arriving on the shore of this ancient world, ready to reveal consciousness of horse to all who are open-hearted. These are my spirit sketches, the few that are remaining from quite some time ago. I was actually in the presence of this amazing horse named Marchador, who is a breed called Marchador. And these were done during a life drawing session with him where he was dancing around me in the paddock. And so are very rare, special works of art. A couple of prints. Watchful is the eye and Silent Night. And this is Unicornist Divinus. This one's been with me for a very, very long time. This was originally commissioned by Lenox China for a plate series of the Unicorn, Gifts of the Unicorn series. It reminds me of The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle, one of my favorite books, where the unicorn is appearing out of the sky. It's amazing to look at this piece and have touched this piece. When I reclaimed it, it came back to me, which is a story in and of itself. And I was able to retouch it before reframing it. And it was like going back in time, touching my earlier self, my earlier work. A few more prints here. Up top is Meadow Sweet. Below that is Heaven and Earth in a wood print, which is really a really fun reproduction. And this is Distant Memories. And here's the original of Chiron's Way. This piece is so stunning. It's hard to show you even in this little video because it's quite large, and it's just the color and the richness to it. This is the darkest my pastels can go, so it was a very challenging piece to depict the light and the dark. But Chiron, of course, is the wounded healer, the wisdom keeper centaur, and I decided to reinterpret him. He's often thought of as an elder, but I decided I wanted a more modern interpretation of a younger Chiron. And I found this incredible model who, to me, had the feel and look of a kind and benevolent horse spirit in a human body. He just felt horse to me. His body language and his demeanor and his kindness in his face, the tilt of his head, everything about him felt horse to me. And then I was able to find a horse that blended that body language and that feeling into a centaur. And in the background, you can see there's actually a horse in the background in the cave, to the mouth. That's a mouth of the cave, and on the right side there's a rock that's parallel to Chiron and is a huge horse head with an eye and nostril. And on the left, that dark band of color of the rock's edge, you can see there's some silhouettes of profiles of shapes of what looks like women's faces. And this was actually in the cave. And what was so fascinating about this piece was when I was researching about Chiron, and he was known to live in Mount Pelion. His cave was in Mount Pelion in Greece. And I did some research. This was back before, you know, Google was really sophisticated. And I found a picture from an archaeologist that had taken this photograph in a cave in Mount Pelion. And I contacted him and I said, can I please use your photograph? And he said, absolutely, I'd be honored and pleased. So that was so fantastic. And in the stars in the background here, along with some more women images, is the Centaurus constellation joined as stars. So there's a lot of layers to this painting. This is Eiohippus, the dawn horse. This is a wild mare that I met at a sanctuary. And within her is the ancient beginning of the horse lineage from 52 million years ago. I can't tell you how much time I spent researching and poring over websites and books and other artists' work of this little Eiohippus. It's often depicted, but not very usually depicted very well. Very primitive, interestingly, drawings are done, but that's my cat going by. Griffin wants to be in on the show. And so it was a real work of love because there was so much that went into it. And there's so much meaning to it. The sand behind the mare, and this is ancient lines of the lineage from Eiohippus and her three-toed footprints, and all the legitimate branches that branched off and died out in the different versions of what evolved from that being. And then the darkest line leads up to the hoof prints there, which is the line of Equis. So this piece is very special to anyone who has a feeling for the ancient wisdom of horses and how they preceded us by so many millions of years. This is Kelpie, the original Kelpie, and was very special to me as well as Griffin goes by like a shark with his tail up. I wanted to find a Kelpie feeling that wasn't what I'd seen elsewhere, which was with, you know, fins and spikes and whatever. I wanted a sinuous feeling, and so I found this beautiful eel shape of the tail, and that to me felt more natural to the horse's movement and the grace of the underwater ballet that this being could emulate. And the bubbles down below, one of my favorite touches. And her face is actually inspired by my mare Dharma. I took pictures of Dharma trying to figure out that angle of how I could possibly get that top of the head by still looking at the eye and the beautiful bubbles. And she has these lovely whiskers. I love that part too. And her feet, you can see her feet have fins or kind of seaweedy-like appendages, and kelp in her mane, and her coloring. When I look at the painting and I look at my film of the painting, the color is not reproducing at all like it really is. It's got such beautiful deep greens. I love the shafts of light that come down from the surface. And it's so fun to share these with you. This is Longma. Longma is the celestial connection between heaven and earth, dragon and horse. This was another joy and challenge to create this mythic horse that's known to have a red mane and deer antlers and scales instead of hair. The challenge was how to depict it in a way that we would recognize horse, but yet the dragon is present, and I am a big lover of dragons. If I hadn't been a horse artist, I definitely would have been a dragon artist. So this was a pleasure for me to combine these two beings. Again, I found an image of a horse that I felt looked dragon-like, looked sinuous and intriguing and slightly predatory, but kind and mysterious. And I probably said that already, but anyway, just so many adjectives I run out of words. Anyway, the beautiful mane, I love how that ended up. And so this pattern that you see on her side is called the bagua, and in researching the Council of Horses, discovered that the Longma carried this celestial chart to humankind, and it was the beginning of the origins of the I Ching. So the Longma is really a powerful being that is known to only appear during the rule of virtuous leaders. So it's a very powerful being that we need in our time. And this is Crackor. No matter which way I look at Crackor, she always makes me laugh, and definitely laughter is the best medicine. So that's a wonderful way to end this journey with you. Thank you so much for coming into the gallery with me today. It means so much to share my birthday with the horses and with you. These originals are available with special birthday pricing through tomorrow by personal inquiry. You can just email me or call me. If one of the horses is calling to you, you're welcome to reach out and ask about it. And all of these originals is listed in the originals gallery on my website. So thank you for being part of this full circle fire horse birthday. With me.